So hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So what we have here today, and probably the most anticipated SUV, what we have here is the 2023 Ford Everest Sport variant. This is the middle variant of the Everest lineup here in the Philippines, and as well I've driven the 4x4 titanium model. Link of that will be in the description down below. Another thing I like to take note immediately with this Ford Everest is this blue lightning color. I do love this color, and this is also a 4x2. You get blacked out everything here, the side mirrors, the turbo badge vent here on the side, black sport logos here, and as well the black grille here, black Everest. Everything's blacked out, and as well you have 20-inch black alloy wheels. I love this blacked out look. And as well, going back to the color, this blue lightning is only exclusive for this Ford Everest Sport brand, and I gotta say it looks exactly like the Ford Ranger XLT. I also have a separate review on that as well. So ground clearance here is 220 millimeters, just a little bit taller than the Ford Ranger. Side profile looks a bit more handsome, menacing than the Ranger. As well, there is a side step here. There are just few curves here and there on the side profile. Also, you get black door handles and black roof rails as well. So here at the rear of the all-new Ford Everest, since being the sport variant, so there's a lot of black trims here, like on the roof rails, as I said. Surprised this spoiler is body colored. I was expecting this to be black, but it looks good on this. And as well, you have LED lights all around as well. As well in front, I forgot to mention, you still have the C-clamp style headlights like in the Ford Ranger as well. And then you have a sport badge over here. Like all the Ford Everest variants, they have electronic tailgate even for the base model. So as well for this sport variant, you have reverse camera here. And your spare tire is just underneath here. And then open the boot up. These are just approximate numbers, disclaimer only. So with all the seats up, you have 249 liters. It's probably the same as the previous generation. As well, I have a review on the Everest trend, and folding them is pretty easy. You just pull these latches and they are folded. This is where things get a little bit different. So space here increased by 39 liters compared to the previous generation. So you have now 905 liters of space, and then with all of the seats down, more or less the same. So just put it at 1800 liters. A lot of toys here, surprisingly. Underfloor storage, you have your tire repair kit, a lot of charging hooks here and there, socket here, only in the left side, and on the right side you have an LED light. So that's about here with the exterior and the boot space of the Ford Everest. One thing to take note of, loading stuff might be a little bit difficult. It's really high, but it's on par with the competition anyway. So with that I'll show you the interior. So this is the interior of the 2022 Ford Everest Sport. Same as the Ranger, I love the door tabs. Also, you have the same fancy grab handles here on the door. One more time. So, sitting here feels like the Ford Everest Titanium. It feels so premium. It doesn't lack any of the features, I must say, just the appearance wise. But notable differences between this and the Titanium variant. Why did you turn off? Since we're here, you have LED lights above and you have a sunglasses holder. So going back to the differences between the Titanium 4x4 variant, you don't have ambient lighting, cruise control, like the adaptive cruise control, no 230 volt outlets in the rear, and then you have manual adjustments only for the third row. And here in front of the Ford Everest Sport, both driver and passenger seats, you have electronic adjustments, so that's really cool. And then despite being a middle variant, again, you still have hill launch assist and your rear view camera, to say the least, and front and rear parking sensors. So start here in the door. Look at the quality, all the leather here. You have a nice silver trim here, and then you have cubby spaces and bottle holders on each side of the door. My water jug fits perfectly, and then you have two more cup holders here in the middle with plastic grips around them. Perfect fit for my water jug. Very lucky water jug, by the way. And then here on the left side, you have the nice design with the air conditioning vents. Again, surrounding them is gloss black. And what's also cool with this Ford Everest Sport, you still have the 8-inch instrument cluster. It's a little bit smaller than the Titanium, as well with the 10-inch infotainment screen compared to the 12 of the Titanium variant. And then continuing here on the left side, there's pop-up cup holders. They fit my water jug yet again. And then below that, like the previous Ford Everest and like all of the Rangers, your light adjustments are down here below. And then steering wheel here. It's hard, it's girthy. It's not as hard for some reason as the Ford Ranger XLT. That's just for me only. So here you have your cruise control functions here on the left side, and then infotainment functions and instrument cluster adjustments here on the right side. And then you have a gloss black piece here on the spoke of the steering wheel, and then you have yet again the safety reminders here on top of the dashboard. It's the only plastic here on top of the dashboard, but I forgive it because the rest is like hard squeegee plastic materials. And there's also a metallic trim here throughout the dashboard. I don't know why for the other Rangers, middle and then the bottom ones, there is no double glove box. For this middle variant, you have a double glove box, which is really cool. And the one below it is massive, the glove box. There's even lights above there. That's really cool. You have the 10-inch infotainment screen. Below that, you have your climate control functions. And then further down below that, you have a wireless charging pad, one USB-C port, one USB port, and then extra space there on the right side. Another cubby space there for putting a phone there if needed. And then gear lever, same as the Everest 4x4 titanium and some of the Rangers. The plus minus here is on the left side. And thank goodness, not much gloss black here around the cabin like of the aforementioned Ranger and some of the Everest variants. And then you have an electronic parking brake here, an extra space for your coins, few blank buttons here only, but it's fine. The functioning buttons are for your parking sensors, electronic stability control, and your drive modes. I find you know what that is. And then center console box. Surrounding it is leather with black stitching. There's a removable tray. It's deep enough, and there's as well a 12-volt socket underneath. How many 12-volt sockets do you want? Yes. I mean, there's a lot in here. And what's unique with this Ford Everest Sport, you have sports styling seats with an embossment as well. Here, the leather in here feels really nice. There's not much bolstering as you can see, but it's not too bad. And then visors, there's a vanity mirror with lights, but it's wrapped in plastic. Oh! What? They extend, alright! Did that happen in the Rangers? No. The Everest extends but not the Rangers. Weird, but alright. I didn't expect that. It's same for the other one. I have exactly the same on the passenger side. Good job, Ford. So, that's about it. Here in front of the Ford Everest Sport, I'll show you the second row. So here in the second row of the Ford Everest Sport, and like in front, you still have the fancy grab handle, and then this part now in the door cards of the second row, it's all blacked out. Close the door. Perfect. And then still like in front, you have smaller cubby space now and bottle holders on each side, but still my water jug is here. Also, what's funny, like the previous generation, you can lock the car from the second row as well. And then you have two map pockets on each side. And then in the center, you have adjustments for your air conditioning, one USB-C port and one USB port down below. Where did the lights turn off again? Also, you have lights above here. This time, they're halogens. And then you have air conditioning right above here. As well for the third row. Still unique to this Everest Sport. Nice, comfortable leather seat here. And space here in the back is really good. Feet room, knee room, and headroom is all excellent throughout. Transmission tunnel is really wide, but you can put your feet up. So if you sit here in the middle, okay, still doable. My headroom just a little bit eaten up, but I can still recommend someone to sit here in the middle if needed. And then also you have two isofix anchor points on each side, and you have a central armrest. Very thick leather, love it. And then you have pop-out cup holders. They fit my water jug as well perfectly. And as well, the adjustments for the second row is also manual. And we're not done yet. I'll show you the third row. So here now in the third row of the Ford Everest Sport, one issue, like one of its competition, the feet room is not that good. But you can put your feet forward. It's not in the way that much as my most hated third row PPV. You know what that is already. But my knee room and headroom, as you can see, still excellent. There's a large hump here in the ceiling, but it makes up for it because you have air conditioning vents here. And then you have two coat hangers here on each side. And then you have a 12-volt socket here only on the left side. And then you still have two cup holders on either side. On the left side, there's a very long cubby space. My water jug fits in both sides. And then as well, I just noticed now you have two tethering points here on each side. So if I sit here in the middle, okay, it's really hard. Okay, but I don't have enough headroom, but I just about fit only. And yeah, that's about it here in the third row and the interior of the all-new Ford Everest Sport. I'll show you the engine. So this is the engine of the all-new Ford Everest Sport, like the Everest 4x2 titanium and below, including this one. This one's powered by a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder diesel engine, single turbo only, that produces 170 horsepower and 405 Newton meters of torque. I only noticed this intake just now. I'm not sure if it's the same as the Rangers, but like the Rangers, look at the gap. V6 Everest when, please, Ford PH. But let's see with it. But I already driven the 4x4 titanium off-road. Also driven the 4x2 XLT with the same engine as well. So let's see how this compares now, since this is an SUV slash PPV. So with that let's go for a drive.
2 days later.
This is it. I'm gonna drive the Ford Everest Sport. One more thing that they forgot to mention that this does not have in the 4x4 titanium model is paddle lamps. I was actually driving this for 30 minutes already before I did my shoot. I can say I am in love with this PPV. It's probably one of my favorites already. Would I recommend one? Yes, despite its price point, but 2,089,000 pesos. It is quite steep, but you get a lot for your money. And I can't believe I recommend the middle variant. I've yet to try the base model, but knowing they have the same engine, and if you want a little bit more tech, I highly recommend this Everest Sport variant. And this is also the best looking one in my opinion, with, as I said earlier a few days ago in the showroom, the blacked out trims here and there and the blue lightning color. This is such a steal. And finally, I got to drive fully now, unlike the XLT, this 2-liter single turbo diesel engine, 6-speed automatic. You only can get the 10-speed automatic transmissions in the 4x4 titanium variants, like the Ranger. And I gotta say, like, around town, I'm gonna suddenly floor it, the 6-speed is alright. It at a standstill, you tend to notice a little bit of a lag only, but it's not too much compared to its, I gotta say, its Japanese counterparts. And speaking of Japanese counterparts, you all know what the most comfortable PPV is. This can compete with that. This is how comfortable this all-new Ford Everest is. And being a 4x2 model, U-turn test for, oh, it made it. Yeah, the turning circle of this is much tighter than the previous generation. And being the 4x2 model, the steering feels light at low speeds. That I can say against the 4x4. I felt the 4x4 titanium model was a little bit heavy, but there is good feedback. I mean, this one is still good. To be honest, it feels like the previous generation, but gotta say, it still drives like a car, like a sedan. I love the steering feel of this. It's just the right amount. And as well, I'm impressed with the engine. There's not much turbo lag here and there. It's just more of a transmission delay. And then body lean, there is, but it's not too bad. Yeah, the gearing is long. It's only a 6-speed transmission, but you'll get up to speeds really quickly. And look, over humps and bumps, it's not as stiff as like a pickup top. I have yet to drive a Ranger, but stay tuned for those reviews. It's not like most of its competition, but it's really comfortable. But I understand the firm suspension, since this is a bigger and heavier car than the Ranger on which it is based on. And speaking of size, this is way taller than like literally everything. I mean, look, that's a comparable PPV. Look at the size of this. It is crazy. But for me, I'm not intimidated too much with the size, since you sit so up high off the ground. And also the visibility. Yeah, the D-pillar might get in the way, but I got to say the side mirrors of this are pretty large. But I don't mind it since they are large, since you sit so high up anyways. And then manual mode. Oh yeah, let's try that. So like the previous generations, even the old Ranger, I think only, it will not automatically upshift. So I can't wait to try the 10-speed version of this, or on the Ranger, since BGC doesn't have a Everest 4x4 titanium demo unit. Anyway, and what's also cool with this Everest Sport, I forgot I'm driving a PPV. It's that good. Is it my new dream PPV? I want one now. I'm not getting an Everest Sport that's not in this blue lightning color. And then MVH here for a rough patch. Wow, there's not much tire noise at all. It's a oh wait, the NVH is in this is also perfect. As I demoed earlier, the door studs of this is really thick. And despite being a 6-speed, I'm just gonna roll out. Okay, I do notice just a little bit now of the turbo lag, but it's not compared to the previous generation. This was a little bit more responsive than that. I am in love with this thing. And yes, the fuel economy though, I know this is not a fair, but this is its reading, 20 liters per 100 kilometers. That's around 5 kilometers per liter. But take note, I've been flying it the whole day. But you can get better figures if you're not heavy-footed, like me. And over humps and bumps, like the notorious humps here in BGC, look at that. Even my camera's not shaking. That's how composed the suspension is. And then driving modes, I find it funny, since this is called an Everest Sport, this does not have sport mode at all. So I just leave it in normal mode, and be honest, I just leave it in D mode, not in manual mode. I mean, look at that. The performance of this is really impressive. And then brakes, it's your usual PPV, but the brake feel of this is much better than, as I said, the competition. Driving dynamics of this is top notch already. And going back to the NVH, yes, you can hear the diesel drone, but it's not as loud compared to the previous generation. And I remember Servin's review, yeah, I did notice this too. The window glass itself is kind of thin, but surprisingly it's still quiet in here inside the cabin. That's all I have to say with this new Everest Sport. I love this thing. I really love this thing now. So I'd like to thank Ford Global City, Auto Hub Group, Sir Inigo, Miss Tiffany, and Miss Lai here who assisted me in today's test drive. Their contact details will be in the description down below. So hope you guys like and subscribe, and I will see you with more future car reviews and more Ford reviews as well coming up. Bye bye.